Los Angeles is celebrating. But babe, this goes way deeper than baseball. This is about cultural warfare. The LA Dodgers just won the 2025 World Series. And they didn't just win, they threw the pettiest, most iconic shade of the year. After demolishing the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 7, they dropped their championship photo with a caption that sent the entire internet into chaos. They still not like us. If you don't know hip-hop? You might shrug. But if you do? That line hit like a bomb. It's straight from Kendrick Lamar's brutal track Not Like Us. A direct attack on Drake. Toronto's pride and joy. The Dodgers weren't just flexing their ring. They were declaring dominance over the North. Over Drake's city. Over everything Toronto represents. Sports. Music. Pride. All wrapped into one explosive cultural moment. And the Dodgers' social media team? Oh, they knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't some random caption. This was strategic. Intentional. A calculated power move piggybacking on one of the biggest rap feuds in modern history. Let's rewind to 2024, Kendrick absolutely annihilated Drake in a lyrical battle that left the entire internet scorched. Not Like Us became the West Coast battle cry. The victory lap. The proof that Los Angeles had snatched hip-hop's throne back. Now. Fast forward to 2025. LA's baseball team just borrowed that same lyric to celebrate destroying Toronto. Drake's home. Drake's kingdom. It's not just trolling. It's poetry. And the timing? Chef's kiss level brutal. Drake's been Toronto's unofficial sports ambassador for over a decade. Courtside at Raptors games. Rocking Blue Jays gear. He's basically the city's mascot. So when the Dodgers won that championship, the internet immediately went after him. Even baseball's not like you, Drake. Toronto caught another L and Kendrick still winning from the grave. The memes exploded. Clips of Drake looking crushed. Old photos in Toronto jerseys. AI-generated mashups of Not Like Us playing over the final out. What started as a sports celebration morphed into a worldwide roast of one of entertainment's biggest stars. But here's where it gets insane. Within hours, this wasn't about baseball anymore. Sports networks picked it up. Hip-hop blogs ran with it. Mainstream media covered it like a cultural phenomenon. Fans pointed out how the Dodgers have become an extension of West Coast identity, mirroring exactly what Kendrick's music stands for. LA's toughness. LA's creativity. LA's refusal to back down. For Toronto? This loss cut deep on multiple levels. Not just the championship. The entire city's reputation, constantly fighting to prove itself against bigger cultural giants. For the Dodgers? Mission accomplished. Los Angeles controls the narrative. In the booth. And on the diamond. This LA-Toronto rivalry's been brewing for years, and it's not just about sports. Ever since Drake turned himself into Toronto's global spokesman, the city's profile skyrocketed. The Raptors' 2019 championship felt like Drake's ultimate victory, proof that when a city and its biggest superstar align, magic happens. But since then? Toronto's momentum faded. Los Angeles stormed back. Bigger. Bolder. More dominant. The Dodgers' Not Like Us post wasn't just flexing. It was a symbolic declaration that LA still runs the culture. Let's keep it real, Not Like Us wasn't just another diss track. It became a rallying cry. A soundtrack for every city, athlete, and fan who ever felt overshadowed by Drake's brand. When Kendrick released that track, the internet combusted. Stadiums, nightclubs, and arenas across the West Coast blasted it like a battle anthem. It transcended hip-hop. It became tribal. That's why the Dodgers quoting it landed so hard. It wasn't just about baseball. It was proof of how sports and music collide. How rivalry, pride, and narrative bleed into each other. The Dodgers didn't just beat Toronto on the field. They reinforced a cultural victory already claimed in the recording studio. And here's the kicker, sources close to the Dodgers media team confirmed the caption was completely intentional. Insiders say multiple LA players were pumping Kendrick tracks in the locker room after the victory. One anonymous player told reporters, "We didn't just win the World Series, we repped the city." That's a West Coast declaration. Social media erupted. From Lakers celebrations to Dodgers parades, Kendrick's fingerprints are all over Los Angeles. It's not just music at this point. It's the city's heartbeat. Meanwhile, Toronto fans didn't sit back quietly. Blue Jays supporters flooded social media defending their squad and Drake. Some called the Dodgers petty and tasteless for coming after a rapper who wasn't even involved. But that argument crumbled fast. The internet runs on competition. Trolling is currency now. The harder fans defended Drake, the more ruthless the jokes became. Comments like "Toronto caught 2 Ls, one in baseball and one in bars" took over Twitter and TikTok. The rivalry officially jumped from the diamond into the culture wars. And the Dodgers? They're now the poster child for that crossover. So here's the real question. How deep has hip-hop actually penetrated modern sports culture? Because we're light years past the era when music and athletics existed in separate universes. Now, they're completely fused. Athletes weaponize rap lyrics to hype themselves up, celebrate victories, and destroy opponents verbally. Teams design social media content with references that resonate far beyond sports fans. And the Dodgers? They just proved they know how to dominate both on and off the field. They didn't just defeat Toronto. They hijacked a hip-hop cultural moment and transformed it into sports legend. Now let's address Drake's reaction. Or more accurately, his complete absence of one. Usually the master of subtle jabs and social media comebacks, the rapper has gone completely silent since the Dodgers caption detonated online. Sources close to his circle claim he's locked in on upcoming projects. But fans aren't convinced. Some think he's strategically waiting for the perfect counterstrike. Others believe he's avoiding more humiliation after a devastating year that saw him lose battles on the charts and in the cultural arena. Either way, the silence speaks volumes. Especially for someone who built an entire empire on narrative control. Here's where it gets ironic. Drake's sports connections have always been brand-defining. Courtside at Raptors games. Boxing matches. Soccer tournaments. He transformed fandom into a business model. But that same visibility makes him an effortless target when his teams crumble. Every defeat feels deeply personal. And every meme reinforces the mythology of the Drake curse. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The internet legend that teams and athletes Drake publicly backs mysteriously collapse when stakes are highest. Kentucky Wildcats. Serena Williams. Now the Toronto Blue Jays. The pattern stalks in relentlessly. So when the Dodgers dropped "They Still Not Like Us," fans instantly linked it to that ongoing phenomenon. Amplifying the story that Drake's support equals catastrophe. Even sports commentators jumped in. ESPN and Fox Sports aired segments dissecting the Dodgers' troll caption. Hip-hop media outlets transformed it into cultural analysis. One anchor literally joked, "Drake needs to stop attending games for everyone's benefit." Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar supporters celebrated this as another metaphorical triumph. Not Like Us had already transcended the music industry. Now it was shaping how major sports franchises communicate. That's a level of cultural penetration few artists ever reach. The aftermath reignited debates about regional identity in hip-hop. Los Angeles versus Toronto. Two radically different ecosystems. The raw authenticity of the West Coast versus the refined global branding of Drake's OVO empire. Kendrick's dominance in their lyrical warfare wasn't just about bars. It was about genuine representation. And now that same essence bled into athletics. Fans are interpreting the Dodgers championship as an extension of that authenticity. Like the team picked up the banner Kendrick planted, transforming the title into another installment of West versus North. The takeaway? Los Angeles doesn't just conquer. It reimagines what conquest means. From a cultural lens, this trolling incident will be immortalized as one of the most legendary sports memes of the decade. It wasn't just a caption. It was social commentary on how entertainment, athletics, and music have completely merged. Previously, championship celebrations centered on the hardware. Now, they're about symbolism, narrative crafting, and viral velocity. The Dodgers grasped that brilliantly. By quoting "They Still Not Like Us," they didn't just mark a victory. They welded their legacy to a cultural movement rooted in pride, competition, and artistic expression. The strategy cemented Los Angeles' supremacy in contemporary pop culture. Cinema. Music. Fashion. Sports. The city continues dictating global movements. the Dodgers post wasn't about baseball. It was LA demonstrating its cultural dominance. The quote ricocheted through every digital space imaginable. Hashtags like hashtag still not like you, hashtag West Coast wins again, and hashtag Drake L detonated. Within 24 hours, over 10 million engagements across platforms. Celebrities outside sports contributed. Comedians. Content creators. Athletes. Everyone participated. For a single caption to generate that magnitude of response? That demonstrates how potent cultural timing really is. But beneath the comedy exists a profound reality about modern rivalry. Today's battles aren't restricted to arenas or studios. They're waged across social networks, streaming services, and public consciousness. The Dodgers shot at Drake represents a new breed of cultural combat. One that rewards whoever captures the narrative fastest. And Los Angeles, with its creative firepower, swagger, and cultural supremacy, has demonstrated once more it understands the system better than anyone. Meanwhile, Toronto supporters are regrouping, attempting to reclaim the storyline. Some highlighted that the Blue Jays' World Series journey was unprecedented. The franchise has nothing to apologize for. But even those optimistic messages get buried under the internet's fixation on the Dodgers caption. The moment expanded beyond baseball. It's about identity. Reputation. How social media magnifies every triumph and every failure. For Drake, the connection between the Blue Jays' defeat and Kendrick's lyric is inescapable. Another confirmation that regardless of his success, the shadow of not like us persistently haunts him. Ultimately, the Dodgers' viral post accomplished more than Drake trolling. It immortalized a cultural epic. It illustrated how hip-hop's reach extends far past music, influencing the vocabulary, comedy, and mentality of modern athletics. It confirmed that Los Angeles, whether through Kendrick Lamar or the Dodgers, continues dominating not just in execution, but in narrative creation. The Dodgers didn't just conquer Toronto. They converted their championship into a symbol for the city's continuous cultural reign. A statement that West Coast creative force still controls what captures global attention. For Drake, this incident will burn for a while. Watching his hometown lose a World Series they desperately craved would have stung regardless. Getting trolled by a city that already embarrassed him musically? That cuts deeper. Still, Drake's comeback ability shouldn't be dismissed. He's notorious for recovering. Converting losses into momentum for bigger returns. The genuine question is his response strategy. Will he stay quiet? Play it off? Slip a calculated line into his next release? The internet's watching. Whatever choice he makes will either resurrect the rivalry or seal this chapter permanently. The Dodgers, meanwhile, have elevated themselves into cultural icons. Their "They Still Not Like Us" post will be archived not just as a championship moment, but as a blueprint for modern branding. They proved sports organizations can be cultural narrators. That every victory can transform into viral history if executed strategically. By tapping into one of hip-hop's most powerful lyrics, they link themselves eternally to a piece of musical heritage. That's not just winning. That's building legacy. As celebrations rage through Los Angeles, one truth crystallizes. The West Coast is radiating stronger than ever. Kendrick commanding the mic, Lakers ruling the court. Dodgers owning the field. The city keeps discovering innovative methods to remind the world it remains supreme. The Dodgers trolling Drake wasn't about baseball. It was about momentum, identity, and cultural authority. Los Angeles isn't just a location. It's a declaration. And that declaration was perfectly captured in 5 words. They still not like us.